Whoa.
Just go. Tell us about Don't Shout.
DontShout. So DontShout is a clothing brand based in Calgary. It was founded August 2019, so it's fairly new.
Fairly
Like
new.
it's been like what 3 months since DontShout started. The idea behind DontShout, as you can see, let me give you a vibe. This is a DontShout hoodie, and then here you have the don't with a mascot head, and then the shout. The reason behind the whole don't shout, ideology is that um, in like normal everyday life nowadays, we have like a lot of channels where we can communicate, where we can talk. But then with don't shout, people are not making a lot of good use with the channels that they have.
Yeah, it's all
Right.
for clout.
Exactly, for clout.
Negative
So
connotations.
exactly. So the idea behind don't shout is that if you don't have anything impactful to say, then don't say it at all.
Okay.
So that's one of the pillars with don't shout. But it originated as a word that I use with my friends that had some ties to success in the sense that when somebody maybe has like something new, like a new car, like, oh, and then everyone is like happy. He's like, don't shout,
Don't
like,
gas it too much.
don't gas it too much. There's more to come. This is just the beginning type
Okay.
thing. But then based on that, I developed my own meanings for it. You can ask a lot of people what don't shout means. Some people say the literal meaning is don't shout. Some people say I address it in the sense of success. Some people address it in the sense of if you don't have anything great to say, don't say it. But then where the irony comes into play is with my mascot, right? So this is the logo. So with the mascot, he's screaming, but it's saying don't shout.
Okay.
People are like, why is he screaming if you're saying don't shout? The idea behind don't shout is that even though if you don't have anything impactful to say, you don't shout. If you have something impactful to say, I'm saying you should say it out loud so you can impact someone's life. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So through the avenues that everyone has available to them, the idea behind Don't Shout is that everyone should have a voice in society, and they should be able to amplify their voice if they have something that can touch somebody or that can make it some kind of influence. You don't need to touch everyone. Is that one person you have communication with? Because with social media, you can communicate with anybody anywhere, right?
Exactly.
So is that one person that hears your message, that sticks to it? That's the person that matters. But for everyone else, if you don't have anything sensible to say, like, most of the time, just don't say it at all, right? I'm also victim of, like, I'm a cloud chaser to some degree, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to knock everyone, but the idea is that we should start trying to use our channels to, like, as a more positive impact instead of just going on and then, just making people feel uncomfortable, feel bad about themselves. Let's use our avenues to make people feel good about themselves. Let's use that, push people, motivate people, and help them out. So yeah, that's just the idea behind Don't Shout.
You said you started this as like from a saying you used to say with your friends, right?
Exactly.
So were you branding this more towards like your friends, or was it like you still were looking at it from like a bigger
perspective?
Yeah.
Like using the word Don't Shout initially is just a friend thing, right? But then I was looking for a brand name. I've always wanted to have like my own brand.
Yeah.
But then I was looking at a brand name that I can branch it into different avenues with. Like, yeah, fashion is just the beginning, right? Like, eventually I want to go into different product segments. So then Don't Shout, the name Don't Shout, it's a name that I feel like can go further with the different multiple layers that it has to it. Like, I feel like it can go a long way in terms of branding wise. So I'm looking at this from a management and marketing standpoint. Because a lot of people think, oh, Ernest, maybe he has Don't Shout, he's created. Like, no, I'm not that, like, let's say artistic type in general. I like to do the management aspect of things, like the marketing, the selling of it. So looking at it from that standpoint, I wanted a name that could sell. Don't Shout, DS. It was a go for me. Like, I like the idea.
You wanted something that, like, because now it's mainly in clothing.
Exactly.
So you want to see it in a light where it could be like
exactly
business-wise, like maybe tutoring or like, I don't know,
a big
swimwear or like
exactly a bigger brand. Fashion. Exactly. It doesn't have to be only in fashion. If you say Don't Shout, maybe we can be an NGO in the future that is helping kids. At least that's where I see it. Maybe like proceeds from clothing will go to helping make an impact in society in some shape or form,
Mm-hmm.
right now we're in the beginning stages, so obviously capital is kind of, there's constraints on capital, but then eventually when I get to a point where I feel like I have enough capital to move the company like forward, then I feel like I want to do something impactful with the resources that I'll have available to me at that point in time, right? But yeah, so that's the idea. So,
and did you think fashion was easy to like start up in, or how have you seen it so far?
I'd say fashion, I chose fashion because when I thought about the brand and I got a sample design of the logo and I saw the mascot, the first thing that came to me is like how people recognize. I want to create brand familiarity. I want people to know DontShout. Before I go into avenues of products or whatever, I want people to know the product. How will people see it every day and be like, oh, DontShout, I know that guy. I know this mascot. Like, they don't need to know me. I'm just the face behind it. But I want them to know him. He's the important person, right? So it's like how to create that brand familiarity. Like, I want people to know the mascot. I want people to know the brand. So then I feel like through clothing, a lifestyle clothing brand, which is not specifically maybe high end, but we want to get to that point where we can sell at that price. But then for now, it's a clothing brand, a lifestyle brand. Everyday people can buy our clothing, wear it, and then everyone, because of the layers within the meaning of DontShout, everyone will have their own message or how DontShout resonates with them, and then they can live with it. Tell people about it. Oh, like, what's DontShout? Like, when you're wearing a DontShout shirt, people ask you, what is DontShout? Like, literally, like, they don't even have to ask you. Like, once they see DontShout, they're like, why are you wearing a shirt with DontShout on it? Like, what does it mean? So you can explain to them what you feel about it. That's why I don't create a specific meaning for DontShout. I gave it layers, so you can choose what it means to you. You can take it as the literal meaning DontShout, and then it's cool for you.
Fine,
Exactly, that's fine. But I want everyone to have their own meaning to the brand, Instead of just saying it's a luxury brand, it's a lifestyle brand. I want people to pick their own meaning from the word DontShout and then wear it with pride, So yeah, that's what I say.
And you said you're coming at this as a marketing view, right?
Exactly.
Is that because of what you studied in school, or like?
I'd say I'm very entrepreneurial in general, like even before school.
Okay.
Like, I always like business. I always like to sell, like selling mostly. Like, I like to do my own business. I like to, be ahead of time, because like most of the people, like, I grew up in Ghana, like most people will not work until you're done like university.
I see.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
But like, I've always been that guy who's like, oh, I don't work, but I want to make money.
Yeah.
So you try and find avenues to create that income, right? Like, I did so many things. I sold dog food. I sold dogs.
Wow.
I sold bleach. I've done breeding. Like, I've done so many things that intertwine. And then coming from a family where like there's a lot of entrepreneurial people also, so I get that influence. Like, everyone is entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
a family
exactly. My uncle, my mom, my cousins. Like, I think you met my cousin earlier, Angela. Yeah, the funny one. Yeah, that one. She's really nice. Angela, she has her own brand. You know what I'm saying? Vanity Wig. So everyone in my family is kind of doing their own hustle, like with whatever they have going on, like their main 9 to 5, I guess. So then it's always been something that like I've grown to see. So then seeing that a lot, and then being around people who are so entrepreneurial, I feel like it's been a part of me from time. So then it was easy for me to make up my mind to go with the brand DontShout, right? Exactly.
That's fair. And as you said, you want to branch out. And what would you say would be the next step you take right now?
Next step I'll take. Right now, I just want to like take the clothing a little bit further, like, cause right now we're just beginning stages. We're at 4 months.
Yeah.
We're doing okay. Like, we're doing well. Like, as a brand, like, I run all the operations myself. Right, it's a small business. I do it with the side of school and everything else. Right, it's hard to manage. Right,
Yeah.
but at the point where I'm done school and maybe I have more time to focus on the brand and then push it further, I like to see maybe in the next 2 years as be in terms of fashion, because that's the point. That's the starting place. So I want to grow the fashion. I don't want to switch into something else when this one has not grown to its full potential yet. So while we're starting with fashion, I want to grow the fashion aspect of the brand to the point where I feel like it's big enough to take on another avenue. You get what I'm saying? So right now we're just trying to create that brand familiarity, meeting with people in the community, because this brand, even though it's based in Calgary, I am from Ghana, so I'm also launching in Ghana in December.
Okay.
So that's like another avenue, a whole different market that I hadn't tapped into that I'm about to tap into.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a global strategy. Not many companies go from in 4 months go global, right? So the global strategies, I'm shifting it to a culture that I'm familiar with, right? I'm shifting it to a different part of the world that I'm familiar with, that I know that people are well acquainted with the term DontShout. And a lot of people have, different meanings to DontShout in Ghana probably than my friends here, right?
Yeah.
So then bringing it to that whole different market is also another avenue that I'm tapping into that I'm excited about for December, right? So I'm good to be. So DontShout is launching in Ghana December 10th, which happens to be my birthday as well.
Okay.
So it's a big deal to me that we're gonna be in Ghana, and then see how it's gonna be. It's gonna be it's the year of return as well. So most people from African diaspora are like going back to like Africa, but specifically to Ghana because it's hosting that whole event. So then it's a big market to tap into.
Yeah, that'd be a big.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with it being released in Ghana, do you ever think of making it maybe like, since DontShout it's English words, have you ever thought of making like something in French, something in your own language, or like
exactly
exclusively for that?
Yeah. So right now, DontShout is like it's gonna be releasing seasonally in terms of collections.
Okay.
So you won't see DontShout shirts over and over again. Like this year, the ones you've seen them as once. If you have it this year, you have an exclusive. It's gonna be yours forever. Next year, you're not gonna see it again. Next 2 years, you're not gonna see it again, unless maybe down the line, maybe in a few years, I want to do a re-release. Exactly. Or I want to do a re-release. This also from like a management marketing standpoint. I want every piece to be unique.
Yeah. So
every year, if I release something unique, then people are like, oh yeah, now I have something that not everybody will have, right? So this year, whoever has bought it, as soon as December ends and I start releasing my summer collection and my fall collection next year, no one is gonna have these ones anymore. They're gonna have the new collection. So the new people who are gonna join the DontShout family are gonna have a different thing, a different taste, exactly, a different vibe than what people have today. Like I see you're wearing your DontShout today, you know what I'm saying? So you're part of maybe 2019 vibe. Next year you can join us again, exactly. Next year you can join us again, rock some 2020 vibes. So it's just up to whoever who's, part of the family. But I want everyone to be engaged. I want to see it as a community affair because, as I was saying, we want to create a movement where people feel positive about themselves and then they can impact their community, right? So this is just a way to motivate people to be like, oh, what am I doing? What am I doing that I can help somebody? What can I do? Eventually, the idea is that when DontShout grows as a company, we can hire local people to work. I can hire people in Ghana, to work for DontShout. I can hire people here in Canada to work for DontShout. Maybe eventually, we can. Right now, I'm not sourcing all the ideas that in the future I want to source all my materials like from Ghana, like maybe straight from like my trees. The trees that I'm going to get my cotton from to plant and stuff. So it's just ideas, but then the same way DontShout was an idea and I had to execute it to come here to this point, I want to execute. I still have ideas that I want to execute and it takes time, right? And this is the starting point. So as I develop, the ideas I'll be doing them little by little, and then eventually maybe we can grow into a corporate business that down the line. And yeah, exactly. So it's really exciting for me.
Okay. Do you have any other events planned for this year that are incorporating DontShout?
And DontShout, personally, I'm a party promoter. So like if you go to most of my parties, you'd be like there's events or like games or whatever that you can win like DontShout apparel. So like I've had a few events like back in Lethbridge that people had the chance to win some of my clothing, but I don't have any specific DontShout event. I didn't have a major launch. Us all coming down to the capital constraints. Like I'm funding everything myself, like from my own pocket. I'm a student as well, so it's harder. But then yes, definitely in 2020, I'm looking at having like a major like event where it's centered around the brand, where people can learn more about the brand or give me their perspective on the brand. Like I don't want the brand to be like a set in stone line that everyone has to take, like DontShout means this, or maybe like they say Gucci. Oh, Gucci's expensive. You know, I don't want people to have like a connotation attached to the brand. I want, if you think about DontShout, everyone should have that unique element in terms of what they feel about the brand.
Everyone have like a common ground, but they need add their little part to it.
Exactly. Yeah, a little touch to it. You know, so that's the whole idea behind DontShout. I want everyone to have a unique aspect of the brand that they take home with them, and then maybe it can help them also to impact somebody. So we're gonna definitely have some events, probably to help community as well. Maybe do some volunteer work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In terms of.
Have you thought of ever like collabing with like Adidas or Puma or something? Would that be anything you'd be wanting to do in the future? Oh yeah,
definitely. Like in the future, if I had the opportunity to collab with a big company, I'll have to weigh some options. Because if you're collabing with such companies, they're so big, they can overshadow you, right?
Yeah.
They can overshadow the brand DontShout. So you have to see if it's like from a strategic standpoint, if it's worth it, if you want to grow your business yourself, or, you know, the same way like, you know, Kanye West, he had Nike Yeezys, but then he saw that Nike wasn't allowing him to go. They were giving him too many constraints. He couldn't freely build the art that he wanted to build. He couldn't. So then he collaborated with Adidas, which had more. They gave him free space and time, money, and resources to build on Yeezy. And right now, Yeezy is like worth billions of dollars, right? So then, it's through that you have to make those kind of like strategic decisions as like a business owner, if that will work for you. Because sometimes people see the opportunity and they jump for it, right? But then with me, I'm like, is that position sensible for me? Does it work? I know, like, once a big company like that approaches you, it's exciting. You think about it quickly. But in that moment, right now I can't speak, but in that moment, when I get to that point where a big company approaches me,
you have thought it through more.
I would have thought it through more, and then I don't know, because right now I know I'm in the beginning stages. But even in the beginning stages, some people like to buy out companies, right? So you never know. You never know. But
who would be a brand you'd like love to collaborate with?
A brand I would love to collaborate with. I'll say with the art that like I see DontShout, I would like to collaborate with like maybe a Virgil in terms of Off-White.
Okay.
You know, because I like that streetwear lifestyle thing. I'm not more of that high-end fashion. I'm more of a streetwear guy. Even though Virgil is like a streetwear brand, it's a little bit high-end in terms of pricing. Yeah. But I'm talking about in terms of clothing, like the way they look. Yeah, exactly. I'll say I want to collab with like a Virgil. Considering that he also has that kind of similar background in terms of like where he built the brand from. You know, his parents are African. He grew up in an African household. Like I'm Ghanaian, right? So I was born and raised in Ghana. Yeah, exactly. So I want to introduce that kind of element. Like I want my brand to tell a story. So next year, if you're with DontShout, you'll know that we're gonna come out with some designs that have some elements of Ghanaian culture in them. So that's also something to look out for. Because while I'm creating nice clothing, I want to be able to educate people on different things, different aspects of culture, right? I'm big on traveling and learning about different cultures, so I want that to be a thing.
Big on traveling. So where have you gone to?
Recently, I'd say like I did like a Europe trip this year.
Okay.
So I went to a few countries in Europe, like Spain, France. So that was new for me, you know. I hadn't like done like such a big trip by myself. Like I always go on my trips, but like I go with my cousins and stuff. But this was like a big trip that I did by myself with like one of my friends. It was really interesting. Like I got to learn a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like traveling alone, not having Angie to book everything for me and stuff, you know. So that was cool. Like it was actually like, it gave me a lot of knowledge in terms of like how to like move on your own in like places where you can't even speak the language and stuff, right? So then that was really interesting for me. And that was really fun. Like it was like life-changing.
Was it mainly like a vacation vibe, or was it?
No, actually I went for school.
Oh, okay.
I went for an exchange, and then the rest of after the exchange was done, I did my own personal traveling.
Okay.
Yeah, so that part of the exchange was also really interesting because I got to go study in a different environment, different culture. So right now I'm saying, like that's what I kind of pride myself on learning from different aspects, different cultures, right? Like me, I grew up all my life. I grew up in Ghana till I was like 19, like about to turn 19. Then I moved to Canada for school, right? So then I grew up in like the Ghanaian, typical Ghanaian culture. Like, you know what I'm saying? I went to school in Ghana, so I've grown Ghanaian, came to Canada, had to assimilate to the Canadian culture. You know what I'm saying? Fortunately, I have like family here, like my cousins. You know, so it was easier for me to pick up on the culture exactly. Even though there's some parts that you have to keep learning, right? Make mistakes. They say, "Oh no, you don't do that here." Da da da. Then you still pick on that, and then eventually, I got used to the culture. You know, still learning, but now I can say I've assimilated well.
Enough, yeah.
And then having to go to like Europe, like to take a course, so then you can see how different people act in different countries. That's why I feel like the world is like everyone. We're all people, but then we all have different views and different like thought processes. So when you're doing anything, you have to think like when you react, you're like, huh, does this person have my same culture? Is this person, does he really even understand me exactly?
Yeah.
Before you react, because sometimes you think that somebody's doing something, but maybe in their culture that's normal. So that's why before I react, I put all those things into consideration. Exactly. But a lot of people don't look at things like that. They just get mad.
They don't reason with it.
Exactly. They don't reason with other people like, why would you think the person acted that way? Maybe they don't know, right? So then, if you know, then why not educate them, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like education is a learning process. I'm always learning. Even talking to you right now, I'm learning, you know? I'm always learning from people. Like when I have conversations with people, it's not just having a conversation for conversation's sake. There's little things that I'll pick up on. That
you use that to better yourself.
Exactly. I'll use that to better myself, and then I'll learn from it too. And then I can use that, like some phrase somebody would tell me that stuck with me. I can use it like maybe in an interview today. I don't even notice, but then it's based on that conversation that I got that thing in my life. So then I always appreciate people in my life. Like family is really important to me. Like I always have like having my family around me, my friends around me, because like a lot of the influence and a lot of the thoughts you have, the culture you build personally is from those people, right?
Just all the connections you make.
Exactly. But yeah, there's obviously the wrong stuff you don't pick up on. You try not to. But we are human beings. We pick up on some bad habits but then most of the stuff are positive. So like you pick on the positive stuff and then develop on those things, you know. Exactly. So yeah.
That's dope. Yeah. Okay, so dramatic pause for effect, because I don't know what to ask. Let me think. Okay, what's some positive stuff you've learned from your recent vacations?
Positive stuff.
Or something that is like you learned and now like you're like trying to put that into your daily cycle.
Let's say, I feel like I've always had this, but then it became more known to me that it was a good thing, like in terms of like socializing. Like, you know, a lot of people are isolated now because of like video games. Now look at video games that they've created. Like video games now, you can't even play 2-player games. You have to, your buddy has to have a console for you to play the game with them. Before you sit next to each other on the couch and you play. But now you live in the same house, but he's in his room, you're in your room and you're playing. But then that social interaction of you guys sitting together and bantering and talking and flowing off each other was really important, right? But then now that is gone, right? So there's a lot of isolation, a lot of people isolated. Social media, you can talk to your friend through Snapchat, like why do you go hang out and go for coffee, right? You know, so a lot of that social aspect of life is being missed out on. But I've never been one to be like that, right? I've always been one to always want people around me. And go out and enjoy each other's company, exactly. So then, when I was traveling, I seen that a lot of people, like I'll say like somewhere like Germany, like a lot of people after work will go drink a beer and like chill, you know what I'm saying, before they go home. While here, it's like if you're done work, you just go home, right? You just go home. Maybe only on weekends, a few times you see people downtown and stuff. But like the general idea is that you go home, right? But then I feel like that social aspect is lost, and I feel like people have to try and bring it back. Even though we have social media, it's great for, you know, it's a great avenue for communication and, you know, meeting people and stuff. We should also try and still have that physical interaction with people, because then, so we're not taking too far back. We still have that social interaction because it helps. It helps because you notice that some people are great, like at different things that maybe when it comes to social interaction, maybe it's hard for them, right? But you can't live in life without having social interaction. Even if you don't have social interaction in real life, maybe you go to work, you have to talk to people. you have to still develop that skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
So social interaction is really, and then you never know who you meet and who you talk to, and some opportunities might be open onto you, right?
Yeah,
So
and if you didn't have the interaction beforehand, you miss out.
on that opportunity, exactly.
I remember I was on vacation in Dubai, and we were in our last week of the vacation. So the last 2 days, we decided we're gonna go to one mall, and then the next day go to the other mall just to shop.
Mm-hmm.
So like we went to the first mall, and on all the posters next to, they're advertising how Jaden Smith and his sister Willow are gonna perform in the other mall we're going to go to. So we're like, okay, we could check them out after we finish shopping the next day. So like we finish shopping the next day, we go to the mall, and we're like chilling there. And I'm just making this story quick, but basically I got in with my sister. We got VIP seats, and we got to take a photo with them.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I wasn't like socially there. I wasn't, or even let's say businessly there.
Mm.
If I was, I could have like talked to them and be like, yo, what's
Exactly.
up? Let's do something. I really like your work. We should like collaborate. We're both young.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you clearly have potential.
Exactly.
I want to work with you. I want to do this. You know, but obviously, that's whatever that happens. But if you realize that and you learn from that, you'll be like, okay, the next time I see someone that maybe I want to collab with, I want to work with, I want to like grow with, like understand them more. You this time you have that
Exactly.
opportunity. You're like ready. You're like, hey,
exactly.
Well, what's up? How are you doing? Let's talk business.
Let's talk business. Exactly.
Let's become like, let's understand each other more.
Exactly. And what's the worst the person can say? No.
Exactly. The worst they can say is no.
Exactly.
That's all.
And that's one thing I'm still learning.
Mm-hmm.
I hate rejection. Like, I hate for people to reject me. Like I have to increase my odds to a point where I feel like you say yes before I ask you something. And that's one thing that I have to learn, right? Like, because I've learned that, like, in life, people will say no many, many times, right? But then I hate it when people say no, so then I'll just not ask. But then with not asking, how am I sure that the person was going to say no?
Yeah.
You know, maybe they would have said yes, but because of me just being like,
yeah, that
you know,
preconceived idea.
that preconceived idea that the person will say no, then I don't ask, and then it's like, boom, it didn't happen for me, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's still something we are learning. And then that's one thing I've learned, like, everybody's learning. We're still learning every day, right? I'm still learning every day. But at the end of the day, the fact that you know that you are learning, and then you are open to, like, developing and learning, like, maybe you get better, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Yeah, with time, practice makes better.
Exactly. Practice definitely make better.
Keep grinding. You know?
Exactly.
But yeah, what else can I ask?
Yeah.
What time are we on? What did they say, like 28 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Almost done. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'll wrap it up. Yeah, I don't know. You already talked about future plans for DontShout.
Exactly.
What are future plans for you in other things other than DontShout? Like, are you gonna continue school? Gonna go for a master's, PhD?
The idea is to, obviously, I'm done school this semester, hopefully. So the idea is to, after this semester, like, work, you know, because work is really important to me, because I need to work in order to gain capital to invest in DontShout, right? Mm-hmm. So DontShout right now is like my side business, right? So I need to work and then invest into DontShout to the point where DontShout can stand on its own.
Yeah.
Or whatever venture I have can stand on its own. Mm-hmm. Like, whatever different ventures I have can stand on their own, that I can work for myself. Because eventually, I want to work for myself. That's where I see myself. I want to work for myself. I'm still learning different skills. I want to, like, learn photography, like, like, I take photos, but, like, I want to, like, be good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like the way you take pictures, like, professional. I want to be on that level. I want to learn how to edit videos. Because right now, like, it's harder for me because then I have to be asking people, oh, Chika, please, are you free? Can you help me take a picture? You know what I'm saying? So it's harder.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm trying to say? But then if I could do it, then I'll just do it.
You just do it.
Exactly.
To, like,
and then I can just be posting every day. I don't have to wait on people to give me content to post and stuff. So then that's something I want to work on. And that's like a near goal. And then next year, I want to be able to do everything myself. With, also with, like, I'm just working on myself, working on the different avenues that I want to build on. And then eventually, when I have everything together, everything can work great for me, right? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll cut we'll cut that as the end of the interview.
Yeah,
This is That Red Tape Magazine. You can check us out at www.thatredtape.com. Again, we're with Ernest of DontShout brand.
DontShout brand.
Sure,
And
check out them on Instagram. All social medias will be linked.
Instagram at DontShout brand. You can check my personal Instagram at Ernie2. ERNY2. DontShout brand for Instagram is DontShout brand. DontShout brand. Exactly.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, watching, and whatever you are doing. Hope you have a good morning, good night, good afternoon, wherever you are, and peace.
Thank you.